Welcome everybody to DFS Rebels Week 2 Grind, brought to you by BetAngles with player pick'em contests, computer-generated sports betting picks, and sports research tools. Together, we will rise to the top. I'm David Dietrich, aka Double D. I'm here with Robert Smith. You can call him Twitch. I'm excited for Week 2, so let's not waste any more time and let's get into it. It's time to join the rebellion. All right, for the first game, we got the Atlanta Falcons versus the Dallas Cowboys.
How about that, Cowboys? Yeah!
The Dallas Cowboys are a 4-point favorite. And for the injuries, the key injuries to note about are for the Dallas Cowboys, they got Sean Lee, outside linebacker, Landon Van Bosch, and tight end Blake Jarwin, who's out for the season with a torn ACL. All right, so for the first thing I want to talk about is the Atlanta Falcons. All right, so this is a popular game for this week. It's a perfect game stack, high scoring. Both teams are coming off losses, so they're going to come out firing. For the Atlanta Falcons, my favorite pairing is Matt Ryan with the tight end Hurst. Listen, everybody's going to go with Matt Ryan with Julio Jones, who had 12 targets last week, and Calvin Ridley, who also had 12 targets last week. But I'm liking the tight end with Matt Ryan. I think it's going to be away from the chalk, and it's going to be high scoring, and I think Hurst, who's coming off a bad week, is going to be low owned. And, yeah, that's what I like. Who do you like, pal?
This is the perfect game that you want to do a game script for. If you think Atlanta's going to win, you're going to want to do Gurley with one of the receivers. And then you want to flip it over with Dak and one or two of their receivers. If you think the Cowboys are going to win, you're going to want to do Zeke with the receiver. And then you want to flip it over to the other side using Matt Ryan and two of his receivers, which Hayden Hurst would be my key play there. Think about that?
Yes, I like that. So now, all right, for our next game, we got the Philadelphia Eagles versus LA Rams. The Eagles is a 1.5 favorite. The injury is notable. Jared Everett, he had a full practice yesterday, but is still questionable for Week 2. And for the Eagles, Austin Jeffrey's out. All right, so for this game, I think it's going to be a close game. Eagles are only a 1.5 favorite, so I believe the running game will be in effect. I know the Rams established the run with Malcolm Brown and Cam Akers. I don't know who I like in that one. I think I'm going to stay away from the running game. For the receivers, Robert Woods looked like he's going to get Darius Slay coverage, so I'm favoring Cooper Kupp. I think Cooper Kupp's going to have a good game. Tyler Higbee, another great option for the Rams. Like I said, Jared Everett is questionable, so if he's not playing, I like Tyler Higbee. For the Eagles, I like Carson Wentz. I like him throwing the ball a lot. I like Miles Sanders is back. He was out last week. I do like Miles Sanders. Jalen Reagor, he was 7th in air yards last week. Carson Wentz was looking his way, but he only connected with the rookie once. Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert, you can throw a dart on both of them. And Deshaun Jackson, I'm not liking so much because he's going to have Jalen Ramsey covering. What do you like, Rob?
I'm kind of staying off this game. I kind of think the Philly is actually going to win this one just barely, just because the Rams are coming from the West Coast. But Woods had more targets than Cooper Kupp last week. It was like 8 targets. I think he had 6 receptions. So I do like Woods on all, mostly on.
You're not scared of Darius Slay?
Not at all. I think Woods is just. I think he's fast. I think he's talented.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. And you want to go against the grain a little bit sometimes.
Yeah. Yes.
If you want to go more cash, Cooper Kupp would probably be the play. On the other side, Rager, he didn't have a great rookie campaign on game 1. 4 targets, only 1 reception.
Yeah.
But it was a 55-yarder.
Yes.
So I think he's due for something, but I think this is the game where we really see Cam Akers get a little more carries and kind of see what he's capable of. So yeah, I think my main plays here would be Higbee, and on the Eagles, I really am liking Rager a bit on this.
I agree. All right, so our next game is the Denver Broncos versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are a 7-point favorite. Now, we got a lot of injuries on the Denver side. We got Phillip Lindsay, who's out with a toe injury. We got Mark Barron, linebacker, out with a hamstring injury. We got A.J. Bouye, starting corner, out with a shoulder injury. And Von Miller, we all know, is out for the whole season. Cortland Sutton is limited at practice on Friday, questionable for Week 2. All right, so we all know by now the Denver Broncos are my favorite team. They disappointed last week. Listen, now they're on to the Pittsburgh Steelers now, and they have an elite defense. And I got to keep it 100 with everybody. The Denver Broncos, I'm not liking in this game. No. I hate to say it. If I'm predicting a game streak, they're going to be behind in this one. So Drew Lock, he's going to be asked to do a lot this week. Melvin Gordon, I'm off the running game. We saw what Saquon Barkley did last week against the Steelers defense. I'm not liking him. I think Royce Freeman might have a lot of playing time on third down. I think they're going to be looking his way. Jerry Jeudy, I know he had a couple key drops. But listen, with Cortland Sutton out, Jerry Jeudy's going to be asked to do a lot. And my favorite target for the Denver Broncos is Noah Fant. He had 6 targets last week, all in the first half, by the way.
That's crazy.
For the Steelers, listen, I think they're going to run the ball. If I'm predicting the game streak where they're going to run the ball, pound the ball with James Conner. I'm not sure what they're going to be doing. I know he got hurt last week. We'll see what happens. Benny Snell looked good. Yeah, I had over 100 yards last week. So I'm on the running game. I just don't know what to throw the dart at. I'm going to stay away from it for now. The receivers, Deontay Johnson has a juicy matchup. They have no starting corner for the Denver Broncos. They're going against the rookie cornerback. If I would pick Juju Smith, is probably my favorite target on the Steelers. Who do you like?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know that's your team, but you're going 0-2.
It's not looking good this week with all these injuries.
Yeah, but you know what? The Giants put up numbers against Pittsburgh, so I don't see Denver just going down without a fight. So
I like that.
You know, Jerry Jeudy, Font, I think they're great plays. I think Drew Lock is going to be playing from behind, and he's going to be throwing a lot. So you want those garbage time points, then you pick Denver. But yes, on the other side, Big Ben, when he's healthy, which he is scary.
Yes.
And
he has weapons. He has weapons this year.
Scary Big Ben, then you lock in Juju, you lock in Deontay Johnson. You want a little GPP play, you throw some James Washington in there. But
I forgot about that one.
Don't forget about Eric Ebron, who's going to be a fantastic.
What do you think of Claypool?
Claypool, he's gonna have his time. I don't think it's gonna be tomorrow, but he's gonna have his time. I'm a big fan of Claypool, but you're gonna watch Eric Ebron in the red zone. He's due for at least 2, I think, tomorrow.
Yeah, we did let Juno Smith score, so yeah, we are vulnerable to the tight ends for sure. All right, the next game, we got the Buffalo Bills versus the Miami Dolphins. The Bills are a 5.5 favorite. Key injuries for the Bills. Tremont Edmonds, middle linebacker, he's out. Matt Milano, outside linebacker, he has a hamstring injury, he's out. And Josh Norman, cornerback, is out. And for the Dolphins,
I think it's just Devontae Parker.
Devontae Parker, he's questionable with a hamstring injury. Thank you. All right, so in this game, there is a weather concern with rain. So on that note, I'm liking the running back situation on the Buffalo Bills. They have a 1-2 punch with Devin Singletary and Zach Moss. I will have shares for both. Josh Allen is always a great play. I believe he has his career games always against the Miami Dolphins. So he always saves his best games against them. Receiver-wise, Stephon Diggs had 7 targets last week. John Brown had 10 targets. And Cole Beasley had 7 targets. Xavier Howard will be on Stephon Diggs. So I will have some shares on John Brown and Beasley. And for the Miami Dolphins, they're going to be playing from behind. I do not like anybody on that side of the ball. If I would throw a dart, it would be Preston Williams. If Devontae Parker is going to be out, Preston Williams will probably get a lot of targets next week. I am not starting any of those running backs on the Miami Dolphins. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm every time I say I'm done with the Dolphins, then, Fitzmagic comes out of nowhere and throws, for 100 fantasy points. So if you do want to take a chance at Fitzpatrick on GPP, then you can go with Dave's play with Preston Williams teamed up for him, and that could be worthy of some money. But on the other side of the field, I always lock in Josh Allen in the majority of my lines. He's just a fantasy gold. I love the pricing on FanDuel and DK for both Diggs and Brown, especially Brown. 10 targets. Yeah. And he's so reasonably priced for someone who gets that much.
He's always the forgotten guy over there.
I love him. He is my main play. I'm going to have a lot of exposure to him into a lot of my lines. And that's as far as I go with this game. You can always, you get some good exposure to Singletary and Zach Moss. That's the 1-2 punch. People aren't really talking about them right now.
Zach Moss, I believe, is he getting the goal line carries over there?
They're both. It's game script. It's depending on what team
okay.
they're going up against, linebackers. So that's how they're going to determine that. But you got to use them. They're both really good, and they're kind of like forgotten this week. And so I'm gonna take some shots at them just because the ownership is great.
All right, next game, we got the New York Football Giants versus the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears are a 5.5 favorite. Injuries to talk about for the Giants. Golden Tate, he had a limited practice. He's questionable, and Xavier McKinney is out. And for the Chicago Bears, we got Khalil Mack, who was questionable. He had a limited practice yesterday, and Robert Quinn, ankle injury, was a full practice Friday, also questionable. All right, let's get into this. I like this game, actually. I do like shares from each side. For the Giants, Saquon Barkley is having he's going to have a huge bounce-back week. I know he had a shitty game last week. Everybody's going to be off him. But listen, he's Saquon Barkley. He is a stud. He's going to have a bounce-back week. The receivers, Sterling Shepard, he caught 6 out of 6 targets last week. I like him as well. Darius Slayton also had a good week last week with 2 touchdowns. He caught 6 out of his 9 targets. Like him as well. Daniel Jones is the quarterback. Listen, you can pair him back with any of those receivers. Evan Ingram, not so much liking him as this week. He had 7 targets last week, only caught 2. He didn't look good last week. For the Bears, Mitchell Trubisky, I'm very high on him. Very high. He had 3 touchdown passes last week. I look for him to have a big week this week again. If you're predicting a game script, David Montgomery is going to be part of that. He looks healthy. Allen Robinson, I love Allen Robinson this week. Pair him up with Trubisky all day. Anthony Miller, Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham had 7 targets last week. That's big. And Tyree Cohen, I'm not high on him so much. I'm more on David Montgomery. What do you think?
So listen, lock in Trubisky. He's the truth, I'm telling you. Listen, any quarterback going up against that stank-ass Giants secondary, I'm locking in.
Yeah, they're horrible. They look horrible last week.
Listen, they have Jimmy from the convenience store down the street. They asked me to be one of their cornerbacks, and I was like, listen, I'm too busy. So just the fact of that, but then you got to include that Allen Robinson had the whole little drama with his contract. I think they're going to force feed him that ball. I'm seeing Allen Robinson in the end zone twice.
Yeah, I love him this week. I love him.
I'm pairing him with Trubisky. And then like you said, listen, Barkley is not bad. He is one of the best. He just had a bad game. That means nothing. I'm on Barkley. He's coming in projected around 12%. I'm sorry, 8%. I think it was. Let me look over my notes. Yep, 8% projection. I will eat that all day. That is a fantastic play. And then that's
he's my favorite target this week in running backs. Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I'll pay up for that. All right. That's all I got.
All right, the next game, we got the Minnesota Vikings versus the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are a 3-point favorite. The injuries to talk about for the Vikings, we got Danielle Hunter, who's the DN. He's out with a neck injury. And for the Colts, we got a lot to talk about. Jack Doyle and Trey Burton are out. Marlon Mack, we all know, is out for the season. Zach Pascal with an ankle injury, had a full practice Friday, questionable. Michael Pittman, toe injury, and is also questionable for week 2. All right, so let's dig into it. On the Minnesota side, not a lot to talk about here. I'm not big on Kirk Cousins this week. I think it's going to be a close game script-wise, so I think the running game is the targets this week. Dalvin Cook obviously is a lock. For some reason, he only had, 10 to 12 carries last week. I did not like that at all. But he also had 2 touchdowns. So, obviously, Dalvin Cook every week is a lock. And then for receivers, only Adam Thielen. He had 8 targets and he had 2 touchdowns. He had a huge week last week. He's also a guy I'm targeting as well. For the Colts, we got some chalk here. Jonathan Taylor, who's going to be sharing the rock with Naheem Hines. You can throw, obviously, shares in both. Phillip Rivers, obviously, I like a lot. He likes throwing to his running backs and tight ends. Not sure with the tight end this week, but Rob will bring that up later. Paris Campbell, 9 targets last week. I love. He's my favorite throw-in target for the Colts. How about you?
When you talk about the tight ends, if you want to go GPP, then you play Ali Cox. Phillip Rivers.
Who the heck is Ali Cox?
So Phillip Rivers likes his tight ends. So that's the play if you want to go GPP as. So And then on the other side, when we're talking about those running backs, Jonathan Taylor is coming on projected 40% ownership.
Wow.
And he should be. He is talented. But obviously, that's cash all the way. If you want to do GPP, you might want to go Himes, unless you want to eat the chalk with Himes and get different elsewhere. Not with Taylor. I mean.
Taylor, that's all right.
Yeah. Now, this is the same thing as the Giants. The Vikings secondary is just as bad.
Yes.
It's a bunch of scrubs. So, T.Y. Hilton is my absolute lock in this whole thing for cash and GPP.
Love him. I love him and Paris Campbell this week.
You put them in and you're doing really well for yourself. That means Phillip Rivers is also in play. That's a great quarterback.
Absolutely.
He's low
Old man Rivers.
That's a low-owned stack rate there. Well, except for Hilton. Hilton's a little chalky. But on the other side, Thielen. I love Thielen. I have him in so many leagues. And then you want to take a shot at Justin Jefferson. I'm waiting to see what that boy's got. But, yeah, that's all I got in this game.
All right, next up, the Detroit Lions versus the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers are a 6.5 favorite. Injuries to talk about. Kenny Golladay is the big one. He's out with a hamstring injury. Desmond Trufant, they're one of their number one corners, is out with a hamstring injury. And Darrell Roberts, who is questionable. He had a limited practice on Friday. All right, let's dive into it. First things first, let's get into the Lions running back situation. Last week, percentage snaps played. Adrian Peterson was on the field 40% of the time. Next up was DeAndre Swift, who was on the field 30% of the time. And Kerryon Johnson was on the field 25% of the time. I'm not going to touch the running back situation. That's too many guys to mess around with there. Obviously, Adrian Peterson had a good game. I feel like they're probably just going to feed him the rock. But the Lions, game streak-wise, are going to be behind. I think they're going to abandon the running game. So I'm off all running game on the Lions. If I was to target anybody on the Detroit Lions, it's probably T.J. Hawkinson with Matthew Stafford. Listen, Matthew Stafford is going to be behind. He's going to be throwing 40-plus passes in this one. Marvin Jones got to get into the mix. He caught 4 of 8 targets last week. I'm on him as well. On the Green Bay Packers, obviously fire up Aaron Rodgers. He's the man. He had a crazy game last week. Devontae Adams had a huge game last week. Obviously, you got to be on Devontae Adams. That's the big stack right there. Everybody's going to be on Devontae Adams with Aaron Rodgers, so that's probably going to be chalk of the week. Alan Lazard, you can throw some darts on him, and Marquise Valdez-Scantling, obviously you can throw some shares on him as well. What do you like?
Well, listen, I don't know what Rodgers was mad at last week, if it was because they drafted a quarterback or because
he played out of his mind last week.
No one's talking about him anymore. They're talking about all these young, up-and-coming quarterbacks, but he was mad and he wanted to remind everyone who he is. So he is definitely in play. Absolutely in play. So the running back situation, people thought A.J. Dillon was going to take over for Jamal Williams, be the number 2 back right away. He's not. He is still the number 3 back. This is the Aaron Jones show, and Williams is backing him up. So I do love Rodgers a lot. I love Adams a lot. So when you look across the field, I love taking shots at Swift. I'm a big Swift fan. He was my favorite running back coming out of the draft. But you can't ignore AP. AP is still doing his thing.
Yeah, he's doing his thing at such an old age, man.
He's still running the ball. He's still taking his belt off and whipping his
He's
children.
in great shape.
Yep. Listen, he's got it. You want to target a GPP play in them? You target this guy Syphilis on however you say his name over one of the right
Quintez Cephus. He had 10 targets last week.
10 targets, yeah. Syphilis. Lock him in for GPP plays. And that's all I'm really going for in this game. I don't really like too much.
Next up, the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Tennessee Titans. The Titans are a 7.5 favorite. Injuries to talk about for the Jaguars is Zigbo and Armstead. The running backs are both out. And for the Tennessee Titans, A.J. Brown, that's a big one, out with a knee injury. Vic Beasley, DN, full practice on Friday, is questionable. Malcolm Butler, cornerback, quadriceps, did not practice on Friday. He's questionable. Adoree Jackson is out with a knee injury. All right. For the Tennessee Titans, this is the Derrick Henry show. Listen, last week he had, 31 carries for 116 yards. He did tire out the Denver Broncos in the fourth quarter. That's what he does. He's a power back. The game script is well on his favor. I'm very big on Derrick Henry this week. It's like that's the only guy I like really on the Tennessee Titans. Tannehill I'm away from this week. With Adam Brown out, Juno Smith is a good play if you want to go on a tight end side of this week. Yeah, Juno Smith I do like. For the Jaguars, if anything, Gardner Minshew is going to be playing from behind. To pair him up with Chris Thompson, he's a good. He gets a lot of receptions. He only had 2 targets though last week. I didn't like that at all. Laviska Shenault, the rookie, I think he had a touchdown last week. I was impressed. They had him involved in the running game and receiving game. So if anything, the Jaguars, I do like Minshew. Pair him up with Laviska Shenault. Who do you like?
No, I like that. That's like garbage time.
Garbage kind of stats.
You always want to use Minshew in garbage time with DJ Chalk or Shenault. I think it's great. The second, and according to my projections, Derrick Henry is the second highest owned running back on the slate.
I'm eating that chalk.
At around 35%. Tennessee, I think it's just a Derrick Henry show. That's just what I'm locking in on that side. I don't really like anybody else. Actually, no, Juno. Juno's actually one of my favorite tight ends this week on both DK and FanDuel.
What do you think of Corey Davis this week?
He's not going to be covered by the number 1 guys on the defense, so I'm not on him as much. He's much better when he's facing the number 2. And then since I am using Derrick Henry, I want to get a little different sometimes. I want to use a little bit of James Robinson, which, by the way, in one of our leagues, I want to trade you James Robinson for Tua. Huh?
Oh, wow. Let's do the podcast first. We'll talk about it afterwards.
I always make moves. It's what I do.
That's what we do.
But yeah, DJ Chalk, Shenault, and Minshew for garbage time numbers. Absolutely love that.
All right, next up, the Carolina Panthers versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 8.5 favorite. Injury report to note about for the Panthers, cornerback Eli Apple is out with an ankle injury, and a big one for the Buccaneers, wide receiver Chris Godwin, concussion, out for week 2. All right, so I know the Buccaneers are a heavy favorite, but I'm on the Carolina Panthers in this one. I really like Teddy Bridgewater this week. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks to target. His receivers, DJ Moore had 9 targets, Curtis Samuel 8 targets, and Rodney Anderson last week 8 targets. Listen, these guys are low-owned. They're going to be low-owned this week. I guarantee you that. I'm very, very high on the Carolina Panthers. Ian Thomas, not so much. CMC, though. The Carolina Panthers are going to definitely get him involved, but the Buccaneers are very stout against the run, so I'm not going to be high on CMC. I really like the passing game in this one with Teddy Bridgewater. And for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tom Brady. Oh, wow, that was awesome. The GOAT, Tom Brady. I'm not high on him this week. Listen, he looks old. I don't know. I think he's overrated. I'm not high on the Buccaneers. If anybody on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Ronald Jones, I like. They need to get the running game going. To beat the Panthers, they had a weak run defense. So let's get Ronald Jones involved. He was only on the field for 40% of the snaps, so they need to get him going. Mike Evans, obviously, is going to be a heavy-owned guy. And then, obviously, Scotty Miller, who's looking like the next Julian Edelman on this team. Tom Brady was looking his way a lot. And then, I don't know if you want to throw darts at Gronkowski and O.J. Howard. What do you think?
Well, I'll tell you right now, Bruce Arians is upset that Mike Evans was not involved enough, and he said he's going to get more involved. So I see targets going up a lot for him. So I absolutely love Mike Evans, also considering, again, he is the tallest wide receiver since Randy Moss for Tom Brady. So I actually like Tom Brady. I love Mike Evans.
Just to cut you off real quick, I did forget to mention this game does have a weather concern, 30-40% rain. I forgot to mention that before.
All right, that's okay. I'm still on Brady. I'm still on Mike Evans. Scotty Miller's there. I get it. I want to see a little more from him before I start locking him in on my lineups. You're going to see more carries for Fournette this week, so he's also interesting.
Oh, yeah, Fournette. Forgot about him.
Now, listen, I can see this going where the Panthers win, and I can see, I just see it, like a little, like the news talking about Tom Brady's 0 for 2 on a new team. He's done for. I can see it. I can really see it. But I still don't see McCaffrey being somebody I'm paying up for. The most expensive running back against one of the best run defenses.
Yeah, I'm not on this week.
I can pay down for a different running back that's going to do better.
Saquon.
Yeah, but I love that all the wide receivers on Carolina are like 2% owned. So yeah, those are, if you're going GPP, those are the wide receivers you want to target.
All right, we got the New York Jets versus the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers are at 6.5 favorites. All right, the injury report is big, so let's dive right into it. For the 49ers first, D4DN neck, he's out. George Kittle, the tight end, he has a knee injury, he's out. Richard Sherman, the cornerback, calf injury, is out. Deebo Samuel, wide receiver, foot, he's out. And Jalen Hurd, wide receiver, is out. For the Jets, we got Jamison Crowder, hamstring injury, out. Le'Veon Bell, hamstring injury, out. Denzel Mims, wide receiver, hamstring, out. And Avery Williamson, linebacker, hamstring again, and is out. All right, so this game I'm fading. This is one of my least favorite games of the day. On the Jets side, listen, with Jameson Crowder out, I guess Sam Darnold, who is he going to be throwing to? I guess Rashad Perryman, if you want to throw a dart on him. I mean, he is going to get a lot of targets, so actually he's looking juicier by the minute. The tight end, Chris Herndon, another good option. But obviously the running game, they're going to be behind probably in this one. Frank Gore is their starter. Wow. Old man Frank Gore is going to be the starter and running back to the Jets. I'm not on that at all. 49ers, Jimmy G, I'm not on him at all. Raheem Mostert, the running back, I like him this week. If anything on the 49ers, I do like that. Last week, he had a good game. I think they're going to lean on him in this game. So he's my favorite play. Brandon Ayuk, the wide receiver, if you want to throw a dart on him. Kendrick Bourne, no, not so much. Trent Taylor, I know you're high on Trent Taylor. Tell me who you like in this game.
All right, let me just start with the Jets because this is going to be quick. Again, like I said last week, if you're getting coached by Gase, I'm not taking you. If I got to do one GPP play, I love Perryman because
he's starting to look juicy at the moment.
All the chalk is on Herndon, so I do like Perryman a lot. So now, going over the 49ers, listen, Mostert, they clocked him in at, I think it was 22.5. I got to look that up again, but 22.5, my own error, that he ran last week. I think the fastest time last year that they clocked in for anybody was 22. So he already beat that. This guy is insane. Like, people really don't understand how good he is.
He's my favorite. In this game, that's the only guy I would really like.
I'm really heavy on him.
I think he's really cheap, too, so yeah.
But I absolutely love Brandon Ayuk. I'm really high on him. His wingspan is increasing. You just throw the ball anywhere near him, and he's catching it. Trent Taylor and Kendrick Bourne. I love all three of them.
I want to add that Mohamed Sanu was signed last week as well.
He's not going to be a factor this game. But those wide receivers that I just mentioned, I'm going to have shares of them all over the place. I absolutely love them.
Okay. All right, up next is the Washington football team versus the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals are a 7-point favorite. Injuries to note, tight end for the Cardinals, Max Williams, out with an ankle injury, and Keyshawn Johnson, wide receiver, out with COVID. For the Washington football team, injuries, Thomas Davis, linebacker, calf injury, was a full practice on Friday, questionable. Kendall Fuller, cornerback, knee injury, limited practice yesterday, questionable. And Reuben Foster, knee injury, out. All right, so I actually like this game a lot. This is another game I like to target as a game stack. On the Washington side, I'm a fan of Haskins. Last week had 31 pass attempts. I think there's going to be a good game with both quarterbacks. On the other side, Kyle Murray as well. But on the Washington side, Haskins, you pair him up with Terry. This is the Terry McLaurin week. Last week he didn't do as much, but I see a big week out of Scary Terry. Also, Steven Sims Jr., I love him as well. I actually like to pivot off of Scary Terry with Steven Mims Jr. He's going to be low on it for sure. And then the chalk player of the week, probably Logan Thomas. He did have a touchdown last week, but I'm not so high on him. And Antonio Gibson, he should have a bounce back week, but I'm not really high on the running back side. For the Cardinals, love Kyle Murray. Listen, he can run the ball, pass the ball. He does it all. He's amazing. Running back, Kenyon Drake, I'm not high on this week. The Washington football team does have a stout front seven. They're good against the rush. So I'm backing off him this week. But DeAndre Hopkins, let's talk about his stats last week. He caught 14 out of 16 targets for 151 yards. Wow. He didn't have a touchdown, but I think for sure he's getting a touchdown this week. That's a guarantee for sure. Christian Kirk, 5 targets last week, wasn't involved. I would love some shares on Christian Kirk. He's going to be the pivot off DeAndre Hopkins. Old man Larry Fitzgerald, you can always throw some shares on him. He only caught 4 of his 5 targets for 34 yards. And that's it. I mean, I love this game as a game stack. What do you think?
Listen. It's not Old Man Fish. It's Larry Legend. Put some
Yeah, I should put some respect in his name.
respect on his name. So listen, Kyle Miller, you always want these dual threat quarterbacks. So he's fantastic for this. Hopkins is 100% a lock. You can expect Kristen Kirk to get more involved. He was not involved last week, and he's going to be more involved this week. I can guarantee that.
I like that.
So on the other side, I think Haskins is terrible. I think he's just a big pile of steaming poop. I don't like anything on this Washington football team. But
what do you think of Antonio Gibson?
I like him. I just don't see him this week being anything. I'm kind of off this game, except for Logan Thomas. Everyone's on him. Every year there is a breakout tight end, and this year it's looking like it's going to be him, and he's going to have a breakout game because if there's one thing Arizona's bad at, it is defending against the tight end. They are worst.
Good call.
Absolute worst. So even though he's chalk, that's chalk. I'm eating with the icing, gladly.
All right, the Baltimore Ravens versus the Houston Texans. The Ravens are a 7.5 favorite, and weather concerns. There's a 70% of thunderstorms and rain, so that's something worth noting. And then injuries for the Ravens, cornerback Jimmy Smith is a hip injury, limited practice, is questionable. And then for the Houston Texans, wide receiver Brandon Cooks, quadriceps, limited practice on Friday, questionable. And Duke Johnson, ankle injury, running back, limited practice on Friday, is also questionable. All right, so for the Ravens, it's easy. Lamar Jackson, you play him, and you just forget about it. Running backs, the Mark Ingram and J.K. Dobbins. I'm not going to chase those 2 touchdowns J.K. Dobbins had last week. Listen, it's going to be a week-to-week thing with the Ravens. Whoever the hot hand is, they're going to go with. So with the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, you pair him up with Mark Andrews and Marquise Brown, and you just move on. Texans, I'm not high on them at all. Last week, they didn't look good. They chased the Chiefs from behind, put up some garbage points. Deshaun Watson, I'm not high on him. David Johnson looked good last week, but against the Ravens defense, I'm away from that. Will Fuller, if he can stay healthy, maybe. Not really high on that. Brandon Cooks obviously is questionable, but if he plays, I'm not on him either. I'm not doing no tight ends, Darian Fells and Jordan Atkins. Throw a dart on those, but I'm staying away. Randall Cobb, not high on them either. So I'm not really high on the Texans. What about you?
I love the Texans just because I love garbage time numbers, and Houston is a great team to have garbage time numbers with.
Okay, you have something with that.
Garbage time numbers to Fuller or Stills or even Atkins. Atkins look really good, so I love garbage time production. So you can definitely take your chances there. I'm off the running game on both teams. Baltimore. I do see Mark Ingram being more involved this week. He was barely used last week. But you got to remember Gus Edwards is still there.
I forgot to mention Gus Edwards.
He took 4 carries out already from them last week. So he's still there. He's not going anywhere. But yeah, lock in Lamar, Marquise Brown. Mark Andrews should be up in the same tier as Kelsey and Kittle as far as I'm concerned. He is talented. He's a talented guy.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah, that's all I really got in this game.
Okay.
There was another wide receiver, the Boykin. He could be an interesting pivot if you want to get GPP rights. But yeah, that's about it.
All right, we got the Kansas City Chiefs versus the LA Chargers. The Chiefs are an 8-point favorite. Injuries to note for the Kansas City Chiefs: Tavarius Ward's cornerback out with a hand injury, and then Alex Okafor hamstring out. For the Chargers, we got Justin Jackson, running back, quadriceps, did not practice Friday, is doubtful. Mike Pouncey, center, hip injury, is out for the year. And Derwin James, free safety, we all know, is out for the season. All right, so obviously we got the high-powered offense, Kansas City Chiefs. They are unstoppable. It don't matter who they playing. You lock in Patrick Mahomes. Your boy Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I know you're high on him, rookie.
Absolutely.
You plug him in. And Tyreek Hill didn't have a good game last week. He started out slow, did have a touchdown at the end to salvage his fantasy day. Sammy Watkins, I'm not going to chase what he did last week. Listen, he caught 7 of his 9 targets for 82 yards and a touchdown. I'm not really high on him. Travis Kelce is always the chalk tight end that everybody plays. You can always throw him in there. Demarcus Robinson, I will have some shares on him. And McCole Hardman didn't even see the field that much. I mean, he's always good for a long touchdown, but that's if you're really desperate. For the Chargers, Tyrod Taylor, he is going to be playing from behind. He is a dual quarterback. He can run the ball, get you a sneaky touchdown, and he can pass the ball. So maybe in GPPs, if you want to pair him up with Keenan Allen, he had 8 targets last week. Mike Williams had 9 targets, and the tight end Hunter Henry had 8 targets. So you can pair him up with 8 or 3 of those. Running back Austin Eckler had an awful game. He didn't really was targeted in the passing game. So they said they were going to get him more involved in the passing game. We'll see. And then Joshua Kelly, a very sneaky play on touchdown-dependent leagues. If you can throw him in there as a GPP, you're looking to cash some money. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. Eckler needs to get more involved in the passing game. They said he was going to. So, I like him on DK only on GPPs. I'm not a fan of Tyrod at all. If I was going to take one of their receivers, it's Mike Williams. He fits in the position that Tyrod throws to better than Keenan Allen. Across the field, it's the Chiefs. Do what you will. Robinson was targeted the most in the end zone.
I was surprised about that.
Tyreek Hill's gonna have a much better game. He was getting shadowed by a really good defensive Roby.
He is facing another good secondary, but I don't think you just start him.
Yeah, he's too fast.
He's too fast for anybody. It doesn't matter who's guarding him.
Yeah, and then Mahomes, for some reason I have him projected at 6 to 10%.
That doesn't sound right.
That's so low.
I'm all over that.
I think people. I know the Chargers defense is good, but at that ownership, I am all over.
Yeah, nobody's stopping the Chiefs.
Absolutely not.
All right, and last but not least, we got the Sunday night game. We got the New England Patriots versus Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are a 4-point favorite. Injuries, Seattle, Philip Dorsett, wide receiver foot, did not practice, is questionable. Rashard Penny, ACL out. And then for the New England Patriots, Julian Edelman, knee, limited practice on Friday, questionable. N'Keal Harry, shoulder, limited practice on Friday. He's questionable. And Damian Harris, we all know finger injury, is out. All right, so first things first, New England Patriots. Cam Newton, huh? He had a good week last week, and I was surprised. I'm not a fan of Cam Newton, but he looks healthy, looking good. Bill Belichick got him playing pretty good. So I like him this week. I like him. I like James White. I do see the Patriots falling behind to the Seattle Seahawks, so James White's going to, in a PPR leagues, good target with Cam Newton. Sony Michel, not so much. Maybe if he gets a touchdown, he'll hit value, but not high on him. Julian Edelman's questionable if he plays. I like him. Receivers, I'm not really high on them. Honestly, just some Cam Newton and James White, really. Seahawks, I love Russell Wilson. I know the Patriots got an elite secondary. It's hard to throw on them, but Russell Wilson's a stud. Good luck stopping him. I see a big game out of him. Chris Carson, the running back, he surprised me too. He had a good game last week. They use him in the backfield. He got a lot of passes last week, so that's a sneaky play right there. Obviously, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf. You choose one of them. Pair him up with Russell Wilson. That's it. What do you like?
Well, I'm definitely off Metcalf just because I believe he's being shadowed by Gilmore.
Yes.
So Lockett would be Lockett would be my play there.
Good call.
On both sides of the field, you have dual threats quarterbacks, which is great. I like Cam Newton more just because he's not only a dual threat, but he should be playing from behind, and you know how much I love garbage time points. I'm not on this game so much. Chris Carson is awesome. He was being involved in the passing game heavy.
Yeah, that was good to see.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see how they continue doing that. Yeah, I'm not really. I mean, it's the late game, so it's not part of the main slate. I might have some exposure to this on like an all day slate.
What do you think of Greg Olsen, real quick?
I actually really like Greg Olsen, but if you're doing like a single game slate later on at night, I would really go heavy on Seahawks. But I think my one play from the Patriots, because you need one play from at least from both teams, is Cam. I like it.
Okay, I like that too. A good call.
Yeah. That covers all the games. I just want to go over some contest selection real quick. For me personally, on FanDuel, I'll only be looking at the Millie and a lot of cash games. A lot of cash games on FanDuel. DK, I'll be doing cash games as well, but I'll be targeting some more of their contests. I really love 3-entry max contests. One's like the nickel. One's like Engage 8. I love 3-max. I love single entry games. You got to find ones that say 2 times minimum cash. Those are really good ones to target. Things like Combine, a little more expensive, but I know there's a $5 one down there somewhere. For Dave, I know on FanDuel he really likes the 3 and out. It's a 3 entry max. And then if you want to go a little more,
$3.
yeah,
the
$3.
Good prize pool.
Yep, good prize pool. And then on DK, I know he likes the blind side. It's a little more expensive at $27, but there's only 4,000
I'm a
people.
single entry king. You know I love my single entries.
It's only 4,000 people, so that's a really good one to jump in. Listen, contest selection is huge for DFS. Don't chase the big money just because it looks fancy. Be smart about it, and you'll be cashing no bomb. So listen, everybody, follow us on Twitter, DFS Rebels. Follow our Facebook page. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, we're here for you. We wanted to make this short, so if you have any more questions about any plays, please just reach out. We'll be on Facebook all night, all morning.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to be getting back to you. Listen.
We're here for you guys.
We are cashing. We are the rebellion.